The first time I knew something was wrong was the night I heard the laughter, her laughter, echoing from his phone at 2 a.m. It sliced through the darkness like a blade. A soft, breathy giggle. Not mine. Not even close. I sat up in bed, heart clawing at my ribcage as Daniel shifted beside me, pretending to be asleep. Pretending he didn't hear the voicemail that had slipped through his silent mode. Pretending I didn't. I barely breathed as I listened to the seconds tick by. Then I whispered, "Who is she?" His eyelids didn't even flicker. That was the first crack. Not proof, not certainty, just a fracture inside me, splitting the version of my life I thought I knew from the one I was terrified to see. The betrayal didn't reveal itself all at once. It came in slow, suffocating pieces. A forgotten text preview, a sudden new cologne, a habit of leaving the house every Friday evening for client meetings. At first, I rationalized, because that's what love makes you do. It turns you into a magician, pulling excuses out of thin air, desperate to avoid the truth staring you in the face. But heartache grows teeth, and denial eventually starves. The moment everything snapped open was a rainy Friday night, the kind that smears city lights across car windows like blurred neon tears. Daniel said he had a late dinner with a partner at work, but something in his voice trembled, a hesitation, tiny but sharp. So I drove. I didn't know what I hoped to find. Redemption? Reassurance? Maybe just a reason to believe my fear was lying to me. Instead, I found the Willow House, a warm, amber-lit restaurant tucked between old brick buildings. I saw Daniel through the window, leaning forward, smiling in a way he hadn't smiled at me in months. Across from him sat a woman with dark curls. She traced the rim of her wine glass while he watched her mouth like it was a secret meant only for him. My breath folded inside me. My fingers went numb around the steering wheel. The world dimmed, and then his hand reached across the table and covered hers like it was the most natural thing in the world. That's when the silence inside me cracked. The quiet, patient loyalty snapping into 1,000 bright, agonizing shards. I didn't confront him. Not then. Not at all. Sometimes the loudest revenge is the quiet kind. I filed for divorce 3 days later. No dramatic fights. No accusations. No tears he could witness and pity. He looked at the papers like they were written in a language he'd never seen. "MOI, what are you doing?" "Leaving," I said. That's all. He didn't know I already had photos. He didn't know I'd followed him for the last 3 Fridays. He didn't know I'd watched him kiss her outside the restaurant and then drive home to me, wiping lipstick from his mouth. But betrayal taught me something brutal. Some truths don't need to be spoken out loud to be undeniable. He signed the papers with a trembling hand, and I walked away with a heart stitched together by rage, grief, and something colder, clarity. But I didn't stop there. Healing wasn't linear. It was feral, messy, full of nights when the empty bed felt like a wound that wouldn't close. I visited the Willow House on a Tuesday afternoon 2 months after the divorce. The owner, a tired man with a thinning hairline and a kind smile, mentioned he was thinking of retiring. "I might sell soon," he admitted, "if the right buyer comes along." Fate is funny. It doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it whispers. I made an offer that same week. The grand opening under my ownership was a Friday. Of course it was. The place glowed with warm lights and soft music. My staff moved with practiced grace. The scent of roasted garlic and fresh herbs filled every corner. At exactly 7:14 p.m., Daniel walked in with her, his mistress, her curls bouncing as she laughed. They both froze when they saw me standing behind the host stand. His face drained of color. Hers flushed scarlet. "Emma," he croaked. What are you doing here?" I smiled. Not cruelly, not triumphantly. Just truthfully. "I own this place now." The punch landed in the silence that followed. She stepped back. Daniel stuttered. Patrons turned to stare. The air grew thick with the kind of tension that tastes metallic, razor-edged. I didn't know," he managed. "No," I said softly. "You never did." They left without ordering. And as the door closed behind them, something inside me finally exhaled. Not joy, not revenge. Closure. Real, unshakable closure born from the ashes of everything he destroyed. The twist. The owner had told me something the day I signed the purchase agreement. That couple, the man who came every Friday, he asked. I stiffened. What about them? They weren't subtle. Staff knew. Customers knew. They always thought you must have known too. Everyone knew. Everyone but me. That truth hit harder than the affair itself. But it also set me free, because I realized something profound. I hadn't been naive. I hadn't been weak. I had simply loved someone who didn't deserve to be believed. Now I run the place where he betrayed me, and turned it into the place that rebuilt me. And every Friday night, when the tables fill and the lights glow warm against the windows, I smile. Because this chapter is mine, not his. Never is again.